Hello and welcome back to the channel. So after what feels like months of searching for a new bike, the day is finally here. The dealer's is just along this road, so it's time to go and pick up my new bike. And here we are, back outside of Honda Newcastle, which some of you may have guessed, to come back and buy this, the NX 500. Now, I went for the black colour, and as you can see here I've got a few extras, but unfortunately the heavens are starting to open, so I'm going to get back, bring you along for the ride home, and then when we get back to the garage I'll run through some of the extras that we've got. So bloody typical fashion, we're picking up a brand new bike in this weather, but at the end of the day, one of the reasons for getting this bike was winter riding, so it's all good. Now, I was hoping that I was going to miss rush hour traffic, but you can clearly see I'm getting it smack bang in the middle. But on the plus side, it's given us a bit more time to get used to the bike. So I've got plenty to talk about and plenty to run through. As you know from watching the channel, that I was looking over the last 3 to 4 months, to be fair, at getting a second bike, and the plan was always to try and get something that was more suitable for winter riding and potentially lugging gear through campsites. As you know, the Street Triple isn't exactly an off-road bike, and neither is this, but this is a lot more capable off-road and should be perfectly fine over the odd bit gravel. And the fact this bike isn't particularly heavy, it isn't particularly tall, and the price point really made it almost impossible to turn down. And looking at it all in black, I absolutely love the way it looks. I'm very happy with that. Now, apologies, this isn't the most cultivating scenery in front of us here. The original plan was to pull over somewhere on the way back and have a good look around the bike, but I think in this weather and this wind, I think I'll save that for when we get back in the garage. Might be wet and windy, but it's still pretty warm, and that is one thing I've actually noticed, is this doesn't have a temperature gauge on the TFT. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find an aftermarket one that'll just sit somewhere on the handlebars neatly out the way. Well, now we're out the traffic, we're moving again, so a big thank you to the guys at Honda. Again, they've been absolutely fantastic to deal with. I'm one of those people who always has tons of questions, you know, a real awkward customer, but they've been really good, really helpful. So if you're up in the northeast, I highly recommend, if you're in the market for a bike, sticking your head in the doors at Honda up in Scotswood Road, Newcastle. Well, this is the first time I've rode, apart from a demo ride that is, rode a bike with any sort of windshield or fairing. And in this weather it is already massively more comfortable. And again, it's not the coldest day, but it is pretty nasty, but I'm feeling quite comfortable here. No issues with this whatsoever. I say one area I've got to address is the windshield, but we'll figure all that out in good time. There's absolutely no hurry whatsoever to speed into making any changes. I think it's quite ironic really how the last couple of videos I've done has been about winter riding and winter riding tips, how to prepare for the rain, all that kind of stuff. And here's me not wearing any rain gear. But I'm going to keep my head down for the next part of the journey, and I'll bring you back when we get back to Monkeywood Garage. See you in a few. Well, after that wet ride home, we're finally in the garage. We're all dry. We've got the family together with the NX and the Street Triple. So I'm going to quickly run through the accessories that I bought from Honda, because if you are interested in buying one of these bikes, there's a whole suite of extras you can get, but these are the ones that I would recommend. Now, first thing to point out here in the Monkeywood Garage, I haven't quite figured out what's going to go where yet. Obviously you've got the Street Triple in the corner there, but by having the NX here, I can't really access the stuff too well that's on these racks. But starting at the front end of the back, front end of the bike. I've kept with the standard screen because I'm almost certainly going to change that, because at that height that sits at, it just blows the wind straight into the visor. So I'll look at that at some point in the near future. But in terms of accessories from Honda, I got the front pipes, or the crash bars if that's what you want to call them, and they come with the twin LEDs, which I think really do set off the front of the bike. Really a huge fan of them, and feeling the material of them, maybe not the strongest material, but I'm pretty sure that will protect the side panels and at least some of the engine area down here should I have an off. But I do really think they set off the front of the bike. And moving around into this area, I went for the hand grips. Now I know a lot of people get the bark busters that have the extra bar that kind of comes around here and attaches to there, so if you do have an off, it protects the bike a bit more. I went for the 12 volt accessory port up front, and that's the on and off switch for the fog lights on the front. Coming down to the tank, I went for the tank pad. Not that you can really see here, but underneath I went for the centre stand, which is just here, running along there. You can hear the fireworks going off. It is actually Halloween tonight, so it's a bit chaotic outside. And actually completely forgetting the front end of the bike, I went for the heated grips. I figured if I went for the Honda ones, fair enough, they cost a bit more than the Oxford that a lot of people go for, but it means I haven't got that sort of control panel that normally sits around here. I've just got that little button there, which is nice and neat. Now I fully realise this is an adventure bike, but I wasn't expecting the bike to be in such a condition after the first ride. So as you can see down here, look at the colour of that. You'd think I'd been off-roading. In reality, I've just took the road back from the dealers, and this is the condition I've got it parked up in. So what I'll probably do, I think I might head out tomorrow morning, maybe do a little course run, as in the firework. Bloody hell. Do another course run, and then after that I might give the bike a good wash and then give it a coating of ACF 50, because I am intending to use this through winter, so I want to make sure it is as protected as it can be for those winter elements. Admittedly, today's video hasn't gone to plan. That was because of the near gale force winds and rain on the ride home. I did have a lot more planned, where I was going to take some scenic routes. I was going to pull over with a nice scenic background and run through all the bits and pieces on the bike. But there's plenty of time to do that. One of the things I have noticed now I've got them both in the garage is for a middleweight or small adventure bike, if you want to call it that, it makes a street triple looks absolutely tiny. I'm going to be spending the next couple of weeks doing a little bit more research into all the accessories you can get for this machine, because there's loads out there and I want to get it kitted up for winter and tourer riding. And because there is so many options, I don't want to be going out there spending money on something to find a couple of weeks later there was actually something slightly better out there. So if you're an NX500 owner and you've kitted out your bike again for touring or camping, that kind of thing, I'd love to hear your accessory suggestions or what you've used, what you know that works. I'd love to hear any of that, so drop that in the comments. And in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed watching the video, and if you have, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.